I just took a Stilfy. No, there we go. All right.
A Stilfy.
A Stilfy. Morning.
Hello.
So behind us right there is, well, sort of, the old Bedford River.
The entrance to it, off the Great Ouse.
Yeah. Over that way, you'll be able to see the Salter's Load lock. So that's how close they are. They're very close together.
And Salter's Load goes onto the middle level.
Yes. Salter's Load takes you up onto the middle level. And up there is a sluice. So it really just has two doors. It's a V-gate. Apparently it's quite silted up. And yeah, so that tiny little channel there is where you go to get onto the old Bedford River. And as you can see, there's not a lot of water in there. And it looks like there's maybe about a foot of mud beneath where the boat would be. So I don't think we'd get very far up there.
But because when we started this whole trip on the narrowboat, Michael especially had this desire to go everywhere. And because
everywhere that is connected and navigable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the old Bedford is connected,
well, it's very clearly connected.
But we don't know how navigable it is. Officially, it is navigable, and we have a right to navigate it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's considered a statutory navigation that the EEA manages. Now, it's a statutory navigation, and we have a statutory right to navigate. As far as I can understand that's because, although it is a completely artificial drain, it was created through an act of Parliament that made it a public waterway and gave public access. So we have the right to navigate it. However, the connection between it and Erith was severed a long time ago and was never part of the official navigation. It was always turn right at Welches Dam and proceed up through Horseway Lock Dam, or Horseway Lock?
Yeah.
Horseway Dam? Anyway. And then you'd be on the middle level navigations, controlled by the middle level authority, not by the EA. And about 25 years ago, Horseway Lock collapsed, and the section between Horseway and Welches has been at least partially filled in for decades. And so the old Bedford, which was a historic navigation and was used in the fight over the, circularity or not of the Earth, kind of became just a drain.
Because there's no reason to go down there now. Once the lock collapsed, you have to turn around and come back. So I guess people just stopped using it.
Right, and to get on there, you effectively have to wait for the neap tide, so the lowest of the high tides that comes in any cycle, so that you can have sufficient water to move up that little channel using your prop to clear the mud, apparently. So you have to reverse up to go through the gates, which hopefully haven't so silted up that they can actually get them open. Then you proceed onto the water and you wait for the water to drop you onto the actual channel. And so that sort of floods you out there. Well, now you have to come back on the next of the low high tides, because if the high tides get too high, then you would hit the underside of the bridge, and so you can't actually travel through on anything but really this one kind of tide that appears every month.
But there is about 20 miles, do we think?
Well, no, it's about 20 miles long total. There's about 10 miles, I think, of navigable section before you get to the Welches Dam.
Right.
Now, that whole thing hasn't been navigated apparently in about 3 years. I haven't been able to find anything that says anybody's been up there. Chris Howe, the guy who wrote the Imre's Guide to the Great Ouse, has attempted it several times. There seems to be some question as to how many times he's actually succeeded.
We've got this second and third hand, so we don't know for sure, his experience.
Yeah, but the most recent thing I can see of anybody going up was 2.5 years ago.
Right.
I've got one email chain that says that somebody did it then.
So yeah, we just had to change hands because it was heavy. So we contacted the EA to say, can we do it? We would like to do it. And they said, we'll get back to you.
So yeah, they have told us that we can, if we want to, go through the process where they will go check the oxygen levels and they will repair everything and try and get a crew up there to open the gates and let us through. And they'll tell us which tide to go through and all of that. However, they've been also fairly clear on the idea that they don't really want us to do it, although we do have the right to do it.
They haven't said they don't want to do it, us to do it. They haven't said that at all.
Well,
but not in as many words, but they've said lots of reasons why we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, so they've gone out of their way to sort of say, we don't want to discourage you, but these are the things that should discourage you. So part of the issue is that the water level is quite low. and it has been settled for years, right? It very rarely flushes through, so there's very little oxygen changeover in there. So what you end up with is a lot of dissolved gases in the mud underneath the top of the river. And if we proceed along there with the prop, we run the risk, although we won't necessarily, but we run the risk of churning up the mud and effectively releasing all of those gases. So carbon dioxide and everything will then flood into the channel, reducing the oxygen level even further, leading to a fish kill, which we really don't want to do, not only because it would greatly inconvenience the fish, it would also greatly inconvenience us.
Because they've said that if that happens, they won't let us out because of the contamination it would cause in the grey twos. So we'd be stuck there until
everything kind of drained through naturally.
Yeah.
I'm just going to clear this tiny little spider off your hair here. There we go.
Okay.
So basically we've got this problem of effectively, although there is this Silver Propeller at the end here, and the idea is to encourage people to go there because that will keep it from being lost.
We think it's lost already.
It's lost. This one is not actually navigable until such time as somebody puts a heck of a lot of money into rebuilding those two locks, clearing out everything in between.
Yeah, putting a lock at this end and at the other end.
So we had to switch hands again. So yeah, the problem is that unless somebody were to argue for the historical significance of the old Bedford as being, you know, the site at which the argument was settled as to the curvature of the Earth for the 9 millionth time in 7,000 years, then there's no real reason for this to be a navigation. Like, there isn't a connection. There's already an established connection to the middle levels that works just fine through Salter's Lode, and, you know, it wouldn't shorten anybody's trip. It wouldn't give them any considerably greater amount of...
It would just be nice, but I think there's more important, like, restoration projects.
Oh yeah, there's way more important restoration projects, and it effectively is a nature preserve and wetland now.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is the reason we don't really want to disrupt it. So Joe's going to take a walk over there. She's going to take a look and take some photos, and just see whether or not we're not really dealing with the big navigation problem.
Just want to see for ourselves rather than hear from other people.
But effectively, I've kind of been of the entire time that, like, if there's one Silver Propeller that we'll treat as not actually connected, because in reality...
It's not.
It's not. George is being very
What's
frustrating.
going on?
So if there's one Silver Propeller location that we're going to end up just bypassing and treating as not actually on the connected system.
Yeah, because the only ones we're collecting are the connected ones, and arguably, although this is technically connected, is really not.
Yeah. So we're going to bypass this one, except for I'm going to try and see whether or not there's a way I might be able to get there on a canoe. So we'll see.
So I've made it over to the sluice. There's a guillotine gate, and then here some V gates, and it is really silted up, but I can't access this little bit. This is out of bounds. It's official use only, so I can't get there to look down and see how silted up the gates are. Also, there is a little bit of water there, so you can't see how deep the gates go either. So it's all a bit of an unknown, really. Yeah, now I'm going to go and look at the old Bedford River. From here, it doesn't look that weedy. It just looks like some duckweed on the surface, but go and find out.
Right, evening. So, that over there is Welches Dam lock. This right here is the closest you can get to Welches Dam lock, and I just earned a Silver Propeller. This thing is not navigable. This is about 3 meters of reeds that I've had to punch through with the kayak that I've gotten here. And yeah, they've wound around me like ropes at my waist. I'm not getting any further. There's a coffer dam in place that keeps you from getting any further. And this is really just going up the last 30 feet or so. The weed that has socked in up here above the Welches Dam pumping station is just amazing. And it is very clearly not any longer navigable. Apparently there's a lot of badgers up there as well, and I don't want to get the badger sets out of the way, so I don't think this really should be reopened. Personally, I understand the historical argument. I kind of wish that the navigation hadn't been lost, but at this point, I gotta say, personally, I think it's far enough gone that unless there's a miracle in funding, and even then, I'd still think twice about it for those badgers. Right, so I'm going to try and back out, and hope you've enjoyed this very short video. The Old Bedford channel is behind me. It is back there. Robotham did miscalculate. The world is indeed round, and anybody that wants to argue, I'll never convince you, but you'll still be wrong. I hope you liked that fairly short video about the end of the navigation here on the Old Bedford River. If you did, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, subscribe to Minimalist Maximal Velocity if you want our time-lapse videos, and click that bell if you want to get notifications.